Welcome back to another edition of the No Further Comments podcast, aka the NFC. Now, this is our special edition of the Basketball Insider podcast. A couple things I want to get out of the way. I want to talk about our social media. You can hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, at NFC Podcast. You can hit me up on social media, slide my DMs, and all that good stuff, at Alex_Meacham, MEACHAM. Next week, we'll be back with a normal podcast, our NFC with Glenn and Mario and all our goofy pop culture topics. But today is specific with our Basketball Insider, and we have another special guest. It'll be our third special guest on the Basketball Insider podcast. He's a senior at Marymount High School, just finished up his career, had a brilliant high school career, and plans to go and play in college, which we'll talk about. I'd like to bring in scoring guard. We're going to talk about some of these big games, man. You're like a big game scorer. I'd like to welcome in Charlie Tripp. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm all right.
Good. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, you're the third guest, man. You've got a lot to live up to because we had Ryan Reedy from McNick.
He's tough.
Drew Huxtable from Anderson.
He's just as tough.
And now Charlie Tripp from Marymount High School.
It's a good trio right there. That's a good backcourt.
I'm telling you what, man. That's the triple threat right there.
Yeah.
So, I always tell you, and I joke with you, you're the king of Marymount.
I know. I don't know about if that's true, man.
You're the king of the Marymount area. Whenever I go to Marymount, I drop your name. I told you this. I go to Graders. I get a free scoop of ice cream. For anybody that's listening out there, go to Marymount Graders and drop Charlie Tripp's name. You will get a free scoop of ice cream.
Not guaranteed. I mean, you got to give her a smile or something. Something more than just Charlie Tripp. You got to do a little more than that.
Got to give her a little wink.
Yeah.
A little wink and nod.
Yeah.
That's when you get the whipped cream.
Yeah, get all the mix-ins. Yeah.
All the mix-ins?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your career. When we had Ryan Reedy on here, we talked a little bit about his kind of transformation as a player, going from being a freshman to a senior and what it took mentally for him to be prepared game in and game out as a senior to compete. And really, Ryan's situation was unique. He played varsity, and he started varsity, I want to say, midway through his freshman year. So he was always a part of the varsity team. So take us through your situation from freshman, sophomore, junior, leading into this great senior year you've had.
Well, yeah, I started out as a freshman, cocky, thought I was just God's gift to basketball.
Yep.
Got stuck on the freshman team, as I should have been.
Right.
So I came out, had a great first couple games. We beat Turpin as a freshman on the freshman team. Was playing a little JV, playing a little freshman. And then about halfway through the season, I think exactly halfway, I got called up to varsity. So I was playing 2 quarters, 3 quarters varsity, and then the rest on JV. And I wasn't really, my biggest contribution to that team was practice. I went hard in practice. I tried to challenge the older guys. And, that team had a tough year. They had 5 wins, varsity did. So they were really struggling. They were looking for anyone to give them a spurt anyway, possible. So I just came in, tried to do my job and help the team on practice. I remember by the last 2 games of the season, we played Madeira at home, and I think it was like a 10-point game. They threw me in there. I'm shaking. I'm sweating.
Uh-oh.
I'm nervous,
Uh-oh.
I'm freaking out. I came in, had quick 8 points, though.
Nice.
That was probably the highlight of my freshman year, yeah. So that was a great moment.
A star is born.
Yeah.
Right there.
Right there. That was a great moment. And then actually the next game, we go to Taylor.
Okay.
We're going back and forth with Taylor that game. And it's a 1-point game. And we had the ball out of bounds with about a second left. For some reason, he calls my name, puts me in. They throw, so the play was designed to go to Joey Cromer.
Okay.
But they threw it to me. I caught it with about a second left, chucked it for the win, missed it. Airballed it. So that was about all that happened freshman year.
Yeah.
So, ups and downs.
They threw you in the fire, though.
Yeah,
You had an opportunity.
Yeah, I had a chance to be.
Right?
He's
You
a
could have been a
hero.
star. You really would have been the king of Marymount.
That would have been something else, huh?
I could have got 2 scoops of ice cream.
Yeah, if I would've
dropped
hit
your
that
name.
shot.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So then sophomore year, was on varsity. Once again, cocky as hell. Thought I was going to be something special.
Yeah.
Started probably the first, I mean, half of this season I probably started most of the games. Then we go to Felicity Franklin. I broke my thumb.
Okay.
So I was out for the next 3 or 4 weeks. I was averaging like 5 points at the time. Came back. Wasn't the same. It was my shooting hand. Wasn't the same. Didn't play great. And then that was into that season.
How'd you break it?
Going for a loose ball, which doesn't happen very often for me.
You dove on the floor?
I did dive on the floor.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, just
the one time.
The one time, of course, the one time I do it, break my thumb. So we went, I think we had 11 wins that year. So
Okay.
once again, just an average year.
Okay.
So then that summer, I really worked on my game a lot. Knew I had to step up my game because I really didn't have anything to show for the last 2 years. So then going into my junior year, I knew we had a decent team. We had 2 6'5" guys. Anytime you have a size in high school, you're going to have a shot. And so I just came out the gate shooting well, attacking the basket, had a couple good games. We were like, I don't know, 12-2, 12-3. Then I went down with an ankle injury in warm-ups before the Wyoming game.
Wait. Time out. You got hurt in warm-ups.
In warm-ups.
Can you take us through this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just your typical...
I've heard of players getting hurt in warm-ups before.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your specific story.
I mean, your typical star drill, Marymount warm-ups, we're passing around, you go pass to the corner, go to the corner, you know.
Yeah.
Come in for a layup.
Yep.
I come in for a layup, there's a guy underneath the hoop, come down on his foot, ankle turns, and that was that. The rest of my season.
Now, what does your coach say?
Oh, he was hot. He was hot at the guy whose foot was underneath the basket. Yeah, he was not happy. And I guess we ended up losing that game to Wyoming, who, I mean, Lonnie Grayson, Evan Prater.
Yeah.
I mean, they
They won the league that year, right?
They won the league that year. They were tough.
Yeah.
We lost by like 50.
Wow.
Like, not joking, 50.
Yikes.
And we weren't bad. We were 12-2, 12-4.
A 50 piece.
50.
Woo.
So I didn't come back until tournament game against Goshen. I mean, that was crazy. We were up 15 or 20 and going into halftime, something like that. We ended up losing by 10 to Goshen, a team we had beat earlier in the season. Mm-hmm. So that was just...
That's tough.
That was a terrible way to go out. It was just a tough way to go out. So that was junior year.
And that leads to the big senior year you've just had. So let me ask you a couple questions before I let you dive into that. So knowing that this is your last year, what was your preparation going into that? What were the things you felt like you needed to work on? Because you're a leader, you know, as a senior. And you could have been a leader as a junior, but as a senior, this is your last year. So very important. You look at the Bearcats, Cincinnati Bearcats. Gary Clark this year is he's not like a overly vocal guy, but he's the leader of that Bearcat basketball team, right? And he knew that going from his junior and senior year, he had to really step his game up, and he did that. There were things that he brought to the table night in and night out. And you did that a lot this year. I mean, you were the leader, and we're going to talk about some of these big games where you really brought it. But what was that off season like leading into your senior year?
Well, yeah, I mean, I came into my freshman year with a lot of goals as a basketball player. I mean, I want to do this, this, and this before I graduate Marymount. And up to my junior year, I hadn't really accomplished many of those goals. I mean, I was second team all-conference as a junior, and that's not really where I wanted to be. So I knew, we lost a lot. We lost a lot of seniors that year. So I knew, I mean, people were looking to me. They're going to look to me to score, to facilitate, I mean, just to be a leader, like you said. So I really just got after it in the gym and worked on the things that I really needed to work on. Playing with Shining Stars helped a lot, getting around a lot of people who had similar skill sets to me where I had to, I mean, separate myself from those guys. I mean, a lot of them can shoot, a lot of them can go out and create their shot off the dribble. So I had to separate myself just in order to play on that team. So, I mean, a lot of conditioning, a lot of skill work, and just getting that mindset ready to know, like, night in, night out, I have to contribute and do my part for the team.
Right, right. So let's talk about this senior year, all right? You had 2 monster games. Statistically, those were some of the biggest games of the year of any player. You know, there were some other kids scored in the 30s, and I think Terry Durham from Woodward had a 40-point game recently, but you had a 36-point game and a 32-point game. So what's it feel like going into those games? What was the difference, and did you feel a difference in those 36-point game, the 36-point game, the 32-point game? Did you feel a difference in your preparation or the feeling that night, or was it just any other game and the ball was falling?
I mean, as far as preparation goes, I treat it like any other game. I mean, it wasn't like it was a huge game. We were playing Finneytown. I think one was on a Tuesday night maybe. Or no, they were both on Fridays. But, I mean, just another game. I go out there, start hitting some shots. I mean, as soon as I get a shot or two going, it's like the whole basket opens up, everything.
Right.
My eyes get big and bug-eyed, you know. I get all excited, make a couple shots. So, kept attacking. My teammates were doing a great job of finding me. I was open, so I mean, it just kind of worked out like that.
And your coach?
Oh yeah, he's all for it. I mean, if someone makes a shot, he's keeping them in. Doesn't matter if the last guy on the bench or me, he's keeping them in. If he makes a shot, go ahead, shoot again. So Coach Leon does a great job with that. Yeah,
Coach Leon is a historical coach. I mean, he's been around the game of basketball for a long time and long-time head coach of Woodward High School. And when I was growing up, Woodward High School was a powerhouse. Right. And he was the leader of that powerhouse back in the day. I mean, he coached some great, great players.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be interested to hear what he says about you.
Well, I mean, he's a legend. We hear the stories all the time about the Woodward boys. Damon Flint, man.
What did he tell you about Damon Flint? Because I'm going to tell you about Damon Flint.
I mean, he told me he just flat out play. I mean, you didn't need to tell him to, I mean, pick it up. I mean, every night he could just play. And he was Coach Leon always says that at Woodward, just roll the balls out, let them play, because they would just go, go, go.
Yeah. Damon Flint, McDonald's All-American.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard that.
Right, yeah.
He was one of those ahead of his time guys. He was a big guard that could see over the defense. He could shoot the three. He was left-handed. He didn't play like super fast. He had a very and he didn't play slow. It was very he had a purpose to everything he did. He was a very interesting player. I wish you could have had a chance to see him play, but Coach Leon coached some great players at Woodward and definitely coached a great one in you and at Marymount. So with that 32-point game and a 36-point game, you treated it just like any other game. Both games were against Finneytown?
Both against Finneytown.
Poor Finneytown. They don't want to ever see you again. They probably will attend your graduation to make sure you're leaving.
Right.
Yeah. So now, what was your lowest output this year?
Well, I mean, I think I had two really low games. The first one being at Madeira.
That's a big rival, right?
Huge rivalry. I mean, I hate them. I do not like Madeira. I hate them. But they're all good guys, you know.
Yeah.
But
it's just a high school.
I don't like to lose to them. I couldn't get anything going. 2 for 12, I think. 4 points, 6 points, something like that.
Okay, so what is the difference between that game and the Finneytown game? Obviously, Madeira is better than, no disrespect to Finneytown, but obviously they're a better team, correct?
Right.
But was there any difference in your mentality that game, or was it just you were playing better competition?
Well, I think sometimes a lot of that has to do with the mental side of it.
Okay.
So, you know, I mean, before a Madeira game, you're jacked. I mean, you're all excited, you got everything going, but before a Finneytown game, I'm more loose. I'm ready to just go out there and have a good time. And against Madeira, it's kind of like I'm all tight and all tense, you know.
Yeah.
I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a different mindset between those two games. But yeah.
So since you've been playing varsity for so long, your senior year, did you get nervous a lot before a game?
Yeah, there were definitely. I mean, Deer Park at home. I had the butterflies, big crowd.
Undefeated Deer Park.
Undefeated Deer Park. I mean, we had the place rocking. Had a 6-0 lead. Oh my gosh, that was fun.
This was at Deer Park?
Home.
This was home and you had a 6-point lead. Okay, 6-0. Start the game.
6-0. I come down, wide open three, brick. So I mean, we could have gone 9-0. Could have been 9-0 on Deer Park at home.
Yeah.
Had them on the ropes.
Yeah.
Didn't work out like that. So, but yeah, there were definitely some games where a little nervous, little butterflies.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And the reason I asked you this question is because Michael Jordan, I was reading one of Michael Jordan's books, and he talks about being nervous. And people look at Michael Jordan, you say, oh, he's the greatest basketball player of all time, right? You think that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I was worried you might say LeBron, and then we'd have to argue for 20 minutes. So, but Michael Jordan said it was a book about his comeback to basketball. This was the later years, and Michael eventually retired. It's back when he played with the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was talking about that experience, and someone asked him, one of the media people asked him, when do you know it's time to retire? And for a lot of players, you retire because of injuries. Your body just can't do the things you used to do. But Michael said something totally different. He said, I know it's time to retire because I'm not getting nervous before every game. And people were like, wait a minute, you get nervous?
Right.
He goes, I get butterflies and I'm nervous before every single game. He said it was like that during all the championships. He says, and I said to myself, when that stops, I'm finished. And that stopped happening when he played with the Wizards.
Yeah.
And I always found that to be very interesting because I will often ask a kid, a high school player, you know, are you nervous for the game, or were you nervous? No, I'm good. And sometimes I feel like they're trying to, you know, be cool and all that, but there's nothing wrong because a lot of times, like you put in a lot of work. When you prepare for something, you want to perform well because of all the preparation that's led up to that. So there's nervousness that all that preparation, is that going to go to waste? I need to make sure I perform.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get that, and
Mm-hmm.
I respect that you're honest in answering that question, that there are games you get nervous, like the Deer Park. I mean, there's big crowds.
Right.
And I think the cool thing about your guys' league, the CHL, there's so many games that you have that are rivalry games with, whether it's Madeira, and obviously everybody was gunning for Deer Park, and I think that's definitely, it's kind of a cool league, I think.
Right.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
So what's the most, obviously you had a 32-point game and a 36-point game, as I said a couple times, but what's your most memorable game?
Well, I don't think it happened this year. I think it happened last year at home against Madeira. I mean, it was just a back-and-forth game. I think I only had like 14 points, but it was just a fun way to win, and at home. I'll always remember that one probably.
Nice. Is there a game on the other end of the spectrum that was bad that you'll never forget?
Yeah, oh yeah. Last year again, against Taylor at their place, I had the weasel chance going every time I got the ball. Weasel, you know.
Now, why would they pick on you and call you the weasel?
I don't know. That was a little hurtful.
Does that stuff bother you?
It didn't this year, but last year got to my head. I went, I think, 0 for 10.
The weasel chance really got you.
I think that, yeah.
So why'd they get you? Were you like, man, do I really look like a weasel?
No, it's like I got the ball and I heard him chanting, like, it's going to me. That's towards me. And I was like, what did I do?
Yeah.
And then it kind of got to my head after that.
Mm-hmm.
Started missing, and then it was over after that.
But you adjusted. Like that didn't affect you.
No, yeah. I think I had like 10 rebounds, like 5 assists that game. So I did other things.
Yeah.
But
now let's talk about goals. You said this before. You know, you had goals your freshman year that you had set for long term with high school basketball, and I assume one of those goals was to make a nice run in the tournament, in the postseason. And unfortunately, you guys never did your whole career. Now this last year, of all the 4 years, this last year seems like this would be the year that you make a run, correct?
yeah,
And you guys didn't do that. Now, who'd you guys lose to?
Cincinnati Country Day.
CCD, okay. How'd that feel? And I don't mean to pull back, you know, bad emotions again, but I mean, how'd that feel that game ended and you're like, man, we never, during my 4 years, we never won a playoff game?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not coming in your freshman year and your goal is not to win a state championship, then you don't have the right mindset. I mean, that should be everyone's goal, is to win a state championship.
I agree.
So, I mean, to not win a single playoff game, let alone, like, just one game, that hurt. That was really just a terrible way to go out. Coming off that floor, it wasn't really in the locker room that hit me. It was when I came off the court, like coming back to the bus. I get a big hug from some of the parents, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
we never won.
Yeah.
Like, we never won a game in the tournament.
Did anybody say anything to you about that?
I mean, not in a negative way. I never heard anything negative, but people were just, I mean, they felt bad for us because, I mean, there's 5 seniors, 6 seniors, and we all it just hurt not to win.
Yeah, sure. Well, I want to dive into a little bit the high school basketball tournament right now. I'm going to pull up the brackets and talk to you. And you're familiar with a lot of the teams in the city, and
Yeah.
specifically, excuse me, Division III. Deer Park right now is the #1 seed, team that obviously you faced. Also, out of our area, Madeira's still in it. Purcell Marion is still in it, and North College Hill. I just spoke to the North College Hill coach, Shannon Miner, just the other day. Talked a little bit about their game coming up against Bethel. They've got a good one. That's going to be a tough game. So, being that you know a lot of these teams, of those teams, who do you see having a great chance of winning it all?
I mean, if Deer Park has to be the favorite. If the one thing that Deer Park lacks is a true big man. I mean, I think they start 5'10", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'4". I mean, but at some point you're gonna face a team that's gonna have a 6'6" big who can go. I mean, he's be able to jump, post up, back to the basket.
Right.
So that's their one Achilles heel if they have one, but they can play. So I mean, they have to be the favorite, obviously, to come out of this region. But there are a lot of good teams that they'll have to go through to get there.
Yeah, they'd play Stivers. If they're fortunate enough to beat Stivers, they'd play the winner of Anna and Purcell Marion. So we'll see what happens there. On the other side, Madeira versus Versailles. Versailles is the #1 seed on that side.
Mm-hmm.
They're very talented. They have a kid going to Ohio State.
Right.
Right. What do you think about Madeira's chances?
Well, I was talking to Coach Wayne Scott, the assistant at Madeira, and he said, obviously they're faced with a very tough task of stopping, I think it's Aaron's.
Yep.
So they're going to have, Madeira has consistently played 2-3 zone the entire season.
Yeah.
And they're facing a top shooter in the nation. So they're going to have to adjust, obviously. But if anyone can do it, it's those guys. They have a great group of seniors, 5 guys who just love each other and can play. So if anyone can do it, Madeira can.
Sure.
So.
Then up above them, you have North College Hill. And North College Hill, just an interesting team, man. Shannon Miner does a great job. I don't know if you know Coach Miner at all, but he does a great job with those kids. Really loves them, really bought into helping them become good people on and off the court. Just excellent, excellent person. And he's got those kids playing well. I forget, they might have won their last something crazy like 19 games or something crazy like that. I'd have to look that up. And that's the thing about the tournament, Charlie, is that you might have a team that gets 1, maybe 2 guys hot, and they just take off, and they just get this unbelievable amount of confidence. Think about this. Think back when Davidson had Steph Curry.
Right.
And Steph Curry gets going.
Just took off.
He started cooking.
Yeah.
And it was like, who the hell's Davidson? Right. Everybody's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Couldn't stop him. We saw it before with Kemba Walker and UConn. Obviously, UConn has a lot of tradition. Kemba Walker, NBA draft pick. But, man, that dude was unstoppable. He led that team to not only regular season Big East champions, conference champions, and then NCAA champions. And one of the great runs and one-man performance that I've ever seen. Saw it with Carmelo Anthony at Syracuse. I don't know if you remember that, but as a freshman, Carmelo he was unbelievable. Probably some of the best basketball Carmelo's ever played consistently for a season, college or NBA. In my opinion, I think he had a tremendous year. One of the top performances I can ever remember. I think Carmelo and Kemba's performance were some of the best. But back to my point, though, you just never know. You get a guy, that gets hot, shoots the ball well, and then everyone around them gets confidence. And next thing you know, you're in the Final Four,
Right.
and somebody like you could go, man, we beat them in the regular season. How the hell are they in the Final Four?
It just works like that. I don't know how to explain it. Just sometimes people get hot. They're tough to stop once they get that mindset.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, I want to look at these other divisions here real quick. So looking at Division II, a couple schools you might be familiar with or seen play, I don't know. And as I talk about, definitely a player that can take over a game, a one-man show, Woodward High School.
Yeah.
Terry Durham.
I mean, it's not just Terry, because they have a great point guard, Kane Cooper, who feeds Terry and puts him in great positions to score. But, I mean, once Terry gets it beneath the free throw line, it's over. I mean, he's going to foul.
Yeah.
He can get you in foul trouble, and then he's going to go to the free throw line and knock down free throws. So, I mean, he's tough to guard.
Grown man.
Grown man. Grown man basketball.
No doubt about that. And they just beat Taft. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do if Terry and Coop and McBride, their other guard, those two small guards, when they get going for Woodward, man, they're tough, and they're playing some great basketball. Head coach Jarrell Redden's doing an excellent job there. I've known Jarrell since he was in high school. And you talk about a competitor, but a really, really good dude. Also, in Division II, you've got Hughes. I don't know, have you seen Hughes this year?
I haven't, but I know a couple guys on the team.
Okay. They're number 3 seed, playing well, just beat Aiken. So they're doing pretty well, have a good chance there. And then from there, I want to jump into Division I. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk with Division I because of Princeton High School.
I heard about the big news.
Yep. So Princeton's, one of their top players, Darius Baisley, who's headed to Syracuse, in their game against, this was just, what night was this? This was just, I think, Friday night or something like that.
Right.
I was at the game. They were playing Sycamore, and one of the Princeton players drove to the basket. Okay, Darius Baisley and Dominic Pierce and some other kids, Gabe O'Neill, are all on the bench. Okay, so a large group of the starters for Princeton's team were on the bench. Princeton's up maybe 20-plus points, third quarter. One of the Princeton players drives to the basket. Sycamore fouls him, and it looked like kind of a hard foul, maybe pushed him a little bit to the ground. A couple people went, grumbled or whatever. But it really wasn't a big deal. And some of the Princeton kids came on the court. There were about 6 total Princeton kids that actually came on the court, some of which, from what I heard, thought it was a timeout. And I believe Baisley walked over to actually help the kid that got knocked down to the floor up. So it was kind of a mixed bag of why kids were on the floor. One of the referees comes running over. Princeton assistant coach Ryan Crone starts grabbing folks and pulling them back off the court. And that's when the referee ejected Darius Baisley and Dominic Pierce from the game. And once you're ejected, you automatically have to sit out the next 2 games, which is crucial for Princeton because
Very unfortunate.
yeah, they're a number 2 seed. A lot of people think they could be a number 1 seed easily, and they play Lakota East next game. Rival from their conference, from the GMC conference. And then let's say they had Baisley and they beat East, and if Oak Hills plays Wayne and Wayne's the number 1 seed, if Wayne beats Oak Hills, you'd have a showdown of Wayne and Princeton, which a lot of people were looking forward to in the basketball community. That might not happen now. I mean, Princeton has a tough road, definitely getting past East. And if you look at a team, I'd say Lakota East and Oak Hills probably played Princeton the toughest this year of anybody. And so now they've got to play East without 2 starters.
Right.
I mean, that's tough.
Not just 2 starters, 2 really strong players. I mean, when you have a guy going to Syracuse, that changes Lakota East's game plan dramatically.
Yep.
Dramatically, it changes it. So now I think they're going to have to focus on the other guard for Princeton.
Darwishi Hunter?
Darwishi Hunter.
Yep.
Exactly, yeah.
No.
So he'll be the focal point.
Darwishi is the leading scorer on the team already.
Okay.
He's always been the leading scorer of the team. Baisley's been second, but Darwishi, he can put it up. Now, and you made a good point, because it depends on what he does. Will he go in Russell Westbrook mode and turn it up a notch? He has the capability to do that. And Lakota East has a great player in Jarrett Cox. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
Yeah.
So that could be a great Jarrett Cox versus Darwishi Hunter, like those two going at it, shot for shot. I could see that happening as well. But it's going to be interesting to see. It's unfortunate with those two players. I personally thought the referee could have just called a technical with them coming on the court and just kept it moving and leave it there. But it is what it is. Rules are rules. Oak Hills plays Wayne, which I think is going to be an interesting game, because Wayne has more talent than Oak Hills, just to be very honest. But Oak Hills has Mike Price, and Mike Price can absolutely coach.
Right.
He's going to have Wayne scouted down to how they walk off that bus. Everything, what they're eating before the game. Coach Price is going to let his kids know this is what's going to happen. And Charlie, you know this. You know how important it is, your preparation, just when a coach has another team scouted and say this is what's going to happen and this is what you need to be prepared for. It makes the game a lot easier if you pay attention to the scouting reports and all that. Did you guys focus in on that this year?
Yeah, we definitely knew the tendencies of the other team. I mean, a lot of times we would say, don't let so-and-so beat us. Don't let Joey Edmonds or Colin Shaw beat us. Let other guys on the team beat us, because we can live with that. We can live with a guy averaging 2 or 3 points a game, going off for 20, having the night of his life.
Yep.
So, I mean, a lot of times, preparation is very important, especially a team playing against Wayne, when you have Deshaun Parker at point, and then Darius Quinsonberry, I believe, playing the 2-guard.
Yep.
2 guys who are Division I guards and who can really play. So that'll be tough for Oak Hills.
Who was the toughest guy you had to guard?
Had to guard this year?
This year and in your entire career?
Well, I didn't really guard too many of the great players in our league.
And why is that?
I mean, they didn't want me to get tired, you know? They don't want me to wear out the legs.
Because you got to keep that that flick of the wrist going.
Man, I don't know. Probably, if I had to say, it'd probably be Will Coker.
Okay.
From Woodward.
Yep.
You remember
that was
him?
Last year.
Last year, yeah.
Yep.
I played AAU with him for 2 years, yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, just fast. He was just so fast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you couldn't stay in front of him. And if you did, he could rise above you and just smack the backboard and lay it in. So, not much you can do to stop him.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's look at the other side here of the Division I bracket. We've got Elder. I mean, gosh, Elder comes in this as a 12 seed.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, and they're getting ready to play the number 2 seed, Springfield.
Tough.
That's going to be a very tough game. The thing with Elder, you just never know. They might have, 1 or 2 guys step up and shoot the ball extremely well. Zach Hart might step up and start knocking down threes. Marsh, and if that happens, I think Marsh last game was on fire. He might have had 19 or so points, but those guys go off. You never know. You can't give another team confidence right at the start. So if you're number 2 seed Springfield and you're playing number 12 seed Elder, you have to punch them in the mouth. I hate to use that phrase, but you have to punch them in the mouth at the start of the game. Yeah. Can't give them any confidence.
Exactly.
Because they're starting to have confidence, the fact that they're there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, for Elder just to be there, I don't know how they finished in the GCL, but I knew they wasn't the favorite, because Moeller obviously is the favorite.
Yep.
So to get to that point, I mean, competing against Springfield, who I'm sure they have a couple guys who can go. So, I mean, they'll be tough. It'll be a tough game.
Definitely. Then you have Moeller. Moeller at the top. Moeller, the number 1 seed. And they play Kettering Fairmont. So I'm going to say Moeller has a very good chance of winning that basketball game. I'd like to personally see, just from our area, I'd like to see Moeller versus Elder in the regional semifinal. I think that would be cool. What would really be cool is to have Elder, Moeller in the Final Four, the regional semifinal side, and then to have Oak Hills and, Princeton or Lakota East, one of those. So you have the Final Four being all from
Cincinnati, yeah.
That would
be cool.
That would be really, really cool. Who would you pick out of that group?
Man, probably Moeller. But honestly, I would like to see a Moeller versus Wayne showdown. Yeah. I think that would be crazy.
Well, I think a lot of the basketball minds were hoping for a Moeller-Princeton
That would be
regional
something,
final, and that would have been at Cintas Center.
too. Yeah.
So, because you want to see, if you look at Moeller and Princeton, there are parts of both teams that mirror each other a lot. So you have Moeller, Jackson Hayes, he's going to Texas. Princeton has Darius Baisley, he's going to Syracuse. So right off the bat, you've got two high Division I guys. And then your next guys, you got Darwishi Hunter, who's Darwishi can score as good as anybody in the city with Princeton. And then Jeremiah Davenport from Moeller, who's having an outstanding year. He's been their best player. Mm-hmm. Jackson Hayes has been the most visible guy and the guy people talk about, but Jeremiah Davenport has had the best season of any Moeller player. So there's just a lot of great pieces, man, to see those guys go at it. But at the end of the day, whoever gets there, they get there because they've earned it.
Right.
And it'd be fun to watch.
It would be fun to watch.
Now, are you going to go to any more games?
I mean, I'm still.
Or does it hurt too much?
It still hurts a lot, but if something like that if it comes down to a regional final like that, I'll have to go to that. Or maybe even Division III, see Deer Park, and if Madeira gets there, Deer Park Madeira game for a third time, that would be fun to watch.
I don't think our area gets enough credit for the good basketball that's here. Mm-hmm. You know, I think we do get credit for having a lot of very good coaches in our area, which we do. I think if you look at not only the state of Ohio, but the tri-state, some of the best coaches around, some of the guys that have been around for the longest, are right here in Cincinnati, right here, and some in northern Kentucky for sure. And but I think there's so many good players that come out of here that just don't get good enough props. Well, look at played last year at Aiken, Carleek Jones, who's at Radford. I mean, that kid is tearing it up.
Tearing it up. I remember he was, I think it was, I don't know how long ago it was, but he was playing the tournament. I think it was Aiken Hughes, and I think he went off for 59 in the tournament. 59.
He's a beast.
He's an animal.
Well, I said when there were a couple college coaches that I know that were recruiting this area, and they were asking me about him, and I said, don't ask me any questions. Offer the kid. Like, I don't, whatever questions you have, yes. Take them. Trust me. He's when I saw him, last year I called him the Chris Paul of Cincinnati. When Chris Paul was younger, he did so many of the things that Chris Paul did. I mean, just that same type of swagger, floor, generalship, all that good stuff. And I just knew wherever he went in college, he would definitely do well. And sometimes, Charlie, you could be a good player, but you got to find a college that is the right fit for your game. And obviously, Carleek made a great decision in going to Radford because it's given him the opportunity as a freshman to play right away. I think at one point he was like 9-time freshman of the week. Like, he broke the record. He had a game winner against Liberty. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, just a couple days ago. For the championship.
For the championship.
Go to the tournament for the first time since 2009.
Incredible.
Crazy.
And they really rode the back of Carleek Jones, a freshman, all season. I mean, just a great story. But he went to the school that fit him, very well in his skill set, what he's capable of doing. Which leads me to talk about you and your college decision. Why don't you tell everyone where you're going?
Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, it came down to Carnegie Mellon or Case Western, which is in Cleveland.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I just felt like I had known the guys in Pittsburgh longer, and it just felt like it was another home. I mean, the teammates were really nice, all great guys, all smart guys. I mean, they're probably smarter than I am, but yeah, in Pittsburgh.
Come on, nobody's smarter than Charlie Tripp. Easy.
I mean, we don't know. We'll see when I get there, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, Pittsburgh's a great city. Obviously, Cincinnati's better. Bengals are better.
Of course. Well, I'm not a Bengals fan, but Cincinnati's better. But Cincinnati, the area's better.
Fan?
Huh?
How are you not a Bengals fan?
Have you not watched them like the last? I don't know.
You got to stick with them through good and bad.
No, they've When was the last time you won a playoff game?
Like 90s, probably
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, it's just I don't agree with ownership and what they do. So I don't feel like wasting my money and energy on
Yeah.
them. So, hey, I respect it. You're faithful. You're gonna stick to them.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck with that.
Orange and black faithful.
There you go. Well, you're gonna take your orange and black gear to school.
Without a doubt.
You're gonna walk around.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
When I was there last time, I had my AJ Green jersey on.
What'd they say to you?
I mean, I got some garbage about it, but it happens.
Okay.
They was probably jealous that AJ Green's on the Bengals, not the Steelers.
Really? Okay. And I'm not a Steelers fan, so I don't want you to think I'm like pro Steelers or anything like that. I could care less. But yeah, cool. So during the recruiting process, and I talked to Ryan Reedy about this a little bit with his recruiting process. He still hasn't decided what school he's going to go to, but he had a list down to about 3 or 4 schools and was weighing academics, social life, basketball, and saying, okay, what's the best fit for me? How'd that process go for you?
Well, I knew I wanted to go to a school where I'd be challenged academically and through basketball. So, I mean, I knew I could use basketball as a tool to get me into a better school.
Yep.
So had I applied to Carnegie Mellon as a regular student, I may not have gotten in, but having basketball kind of pushed me over the edge to being a regular student. So, I mean, I just definitely use basketball as a tool. And then when I get there, it'll be all about basketball and academics, and I'll have fun, obviously, outside of that. But, yeah, that's pretty much what it came down to.
And that's so true. I know a lot of kids that have had an opportunity to go to a D3. For example, I know a player, actually 2 players, one in particular out of St. X who did well at St. X, but he honestly didn't have the scores to get into Chicago as a regular student. Just so happened that he was a very good basketball player. And through that, the basketball allowed him to get into the University of Chicago. He goes to the University of Chicago, gets a degree there, and now is working in San Francisco. It's like that's how it's done.
Right.
Like that's a great thing, I think, sometimes with basketball and a sport, And he did fine. Like he wouldn't have got into Chicago in normal situations as a regular student, but he got in for basketball and he did well.
Right.
Like he didn't struggle. Like he adapted well, did fine, got a job after, and is doing well.
Exactly. I mean, you can use basketball in many ways, and I think the best way is use it as a tool to, improve things in your life. So, I think I'll do fine next year because I'm ready for the challenge. So.
What do you want to major in?
Economics.
You're smart.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with it. So.
Okay, like?
Like go into marketing, go into finance. Go get a master's degree in business. So a lot of options.
Dream job?
Ooh, I don't know. At some point, I want to coach the basketball a little bit. Come back, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Like high school?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to be.
So the next head coach of Marymount High School in
maybe not the next
2024, I'm making it a year up, is Charlie Tripp.
Coming back to his alma mater.
Sponsored by Graders.
Sponsored by Graders and good people of Marymount.
See, that's why you're the king. You call them the good people of Marymount. Yeah. So you would coach, huh?
Not right away, not right out of college, but at some point, I would enjoy that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. Do you love the game?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How do you do with the younger group coming up at Marymount? Are you one of those guys that has influence on them and try to talk to them? And as they're coming in as freshmen, you said you came in very cocky. Mm-hmm. Are you talking to them about that, or is that something that you're trying to get ready to do?
Well, I love it when the freshmen come in confident because that's how you're supposed to come in. Obviously, we humble them at some point in time,
right.
But it's great when they come in. Yeah, and I definitely have built good relationships with the younger guys, and I just think through, just like your Shining Star program, a lot of Marymount guys, 5-10 years ago, you didn't see a lot of Marymount guys trying out for teams and playing basketball more than just 3 months in the winter. But now, a lot of guys are trying to branch out, play basketball, in the summer and spring, which I think is great. And that's really how you build a program, a winning program.
Yep. And Charlie Tripp changed the culture a little bit.
I had a very small piece, but I'm proud of that piece.
Don't be humble.
I'm proud of the little piece.
Be humble. That's all good. All right, so in college, growing up in this area, there's a lot of great college basketball. We've got right here Xavier, UC, NKU, down a little bit, Kentucky, Louisville, Dayton,
Right.
IU, and keep going on and on. If we go further up north, Michigan, but so much great basketball. And there will be some people that tell you the best basketball is here in the Midwest, college-wise. Ohio State, I forgot Ohio State too. But you mix all those in, there's a lot of great basketball. Who are you, for teams of this area, who are you the biggest fan of?
I mean, I don't really have a team. I just love watching all those guys play. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that we had UC and Xavier both in the top 10.
Yep.
And they might be currently in the top 10, both of them. I'm not sure. And Ohio State, they're having a great year with that new coach, Holtman.
Yep.
I mean,
He's doing a great job.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. So, I mean, it's just fun to watch all these teams.
Well, the answer I was looking for is you're a Bearcat fan. Like, I just wanted you to say that.
They're fun to watch. I'm not a diehard Bearcat fan.
You have to be a diehard. I don't expect you to be a diehard. Just enjoy the Bearcats.
They're fun to watch. I'll give them that. I'll give them. What was the most fun to watch, I remember, was the Kashmir Wright days. The Kashmir Wright, Yancey Gate days, man.
Yeah.
Sean Kilpatrick. Those guys were fun to watch because they could score.
They were. They were very fun to watch. These Bearcats this year have been fun to watch. Obviously, they're very, very committed to defense. It's fun to watch them rotate and play defense. And hopefully, like you said, with having Cincinnati and Xavier in the top 10, hopefully, we have one, maybe two, making a big run. Wouldn't it be crazy if UC played Xavier, like, in the Final Four?
Happen. It could happen. It really could.
That would be crazy.
It would be wild.
That would be really fun. I don't think it's ever happened.
No.
And to my knowledge, did you watch Xavier very much this year?
Yeah, I got a chance to watch him a couple times. I think I saw him play Marquette, which was a close game. Marquette's really talented. Saw him play, I think, Seton Hall or Providence. So, I mean, the Big East is tough, tougher than it has been the last couple of years. So, and so is the American Conference. I mean, Wichita State, they're phenomenal. So
no doubt, no doubt. Houston's
really good too.
Yeah, they're definitely a sleeper.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to play them. All right, so let's jump into some fun stuff here. All right, getting towards the end, looking for your opinion on a few things. Are you a shoe guy, Charlie?
I'm a shoe guy who can never afford the shoes, but I'm a window shopper,
You're a window shopper.
Yeah.
That's a 50 Cent song.
Window shop, yeah, from his movie.
Yeah, how's it go? Go ahead, why don't you do it?
I'm not gonna do it.
Sing the.
I know the movie though. Get Rich or Die Trying.
That was a great movie. I loved the movie.
And good soundtrack.
And oh my God, that his first album, 50 Cent's first album is a great one. Now I don't know what he's doing now. He's in a different world now.
I haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah. So you're a window shopper, but what are some of your favorite shoes? I always like asking young people this. Some people are right off the bat, they're going to tell you the exact colorway. I love the Air Jordan, 3s and black cement, blah, blah, blah. How about for you?
I think almost every high schooler I've talked to, their favorite shoe is Jordan 11, and I have to agree. They're just nice. They look good. They're clean. They just look good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Whenever I go to high school games and I wear the 11s, I always get a lot of people that talk to me about them.
They just look good. I mean,
yeah,
anyone can pull them off, but you definitely can pull them off.
I appreciate that. Okay, any others?
I like the 13s. They look nice. And then I like Paul George's new shoes.
Okay.
They look good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think about LeBron's?
Never been a huge LeBron shoe fan.
Okay.
Just never
Too
really
big?
got into them. Yeah, bulky.
Bulky.
The new ones aren't as bulky though. They look nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Kyrie? What about his shoe?
His shoes, I like them.
Okay.
Never really worn them, but they look good. They look good on people.
Kobe's.
I like the Kobe low tops. The low tops are nice. Like the Kobe 9s, just a classic. I like those a lot.
I picture you as a Kobe guy, like playing shoe-wise,
I like wearing low tops, yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could totally see that. Music, all right, let's talk about music. Let's talk about warm-ups. Now, at Marymount, I think the band plays during warm-ups, right?
Not a huge fan of the band playing. Not a huge fan. And I think our athletic director is very aware of my hate for the band.
You let him know?
Yeah, I let him know.
Man, I guess the king of Marymount didn't have much power in that one.
I didn't get my way.
So if you didn't have the band and you guys could basically make a mixed CD of music to play during warm-ups, who would it be?
I mean, it would obviously be the hot artists of today. Migos, Drake, Kendrick, all the hot guys, Uzi. But I mean, you gotta throw some oldies in there.
Talk to me.
I mean...
Talk to me, Charlie.
If we know what to win, maybe put a little Ice Cube, Today Was a Good Day.
Woo!
Yeah, we might have to.
Talk.
Tupac, I don't know about, we're not putting Tupac on there, but Biggie.
Okay.
I had to put Juicy on there.
Juicy?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody loves Juicy.
Yeah, everyone loves that.
I think your mom and dad like Juicy.
I don't think they do, but not at all.
Come on, Rick's got Juicy on his iPhone. Come on.
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
I doubt it.
He's got Elton John on there, though.
Yeah, Elton John, classics, you know.
Your dad loves Elton John.
Huge Elton John guy.
Is he going to the concerts?
Oh, yeah. He'll be there when they come to Cincinnati, for sure.
Okay. Big Rick Tripp on the Elton John train. Okay. Migos, Culture 2. Did you like it?
I did like it.
Better than Culture 1?
Across the board, yes, but I think the top songs from Culture 1 were probably better than the top songs from Culture 2.
Okay. You know you're in the minority with the kids
really?
From that perspective. Yeah, I think a lot of people like the first album better. From
Top
the ones the ones that I've talked to. Yes, the ones I've talked to. But hey, you have your opinion. You have the songs you like. Stir Fry, I'm sure you're bumping that.
Not as much. I like Made Men.
Okay.
That song. Slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Walk It Like I Talk It. It's a good one.
Walk It Like I...
Yeah.
I could see you bumping that.
Yeah.
I could see you coming out warm-ups to that.
Moving like in the beat.
Yep.
Like herky-jerky.
I could see that. I could see that. Well, everyone that comes on this show, I try to, and I wish our intern was here, Will Sultan. He goes to Anderson, but he's in tennis season right now, so he couldn't be here. And I had to hip him to Big Daddy Kane. Do you know who Big Daddy Kane is?
No.
So everyone I've had on this show who's in high school has never heard of Big Daddy Kane. So it has become my job to make sure this younger generation is hip to Big Daddy Kane, one of the great rappers of all time. One of the great of all time. So let me break it down like this. So Jay-Z's the greatest rapper of all time. No discussion there, okay? Jay-Z's the greatest rapper. And in my top 5 of my favorite rappers is Big Daddy Kane. Now, Big Daddy Kane, Charlie, he had the look, first of all, of a rapper. I think that's very important. Like, you need to look like a rapper. So what does that mean? In 1992, he had the box haircut with the parts in it. He had parts in his eyebrows. He had big gold chains. He had about 8 women on his video set. Every video, he had wine and grapes, and he's laying in grapes. Like, just classic good stuff.
Right.
His first album was called Long Live the Kane. And he was smooth. He had a song called Smooth Operator, but he's just smooth. A smooth rapper. So when we get off here, I'm gonna give you some Big Daddy Kane songs to listen to, and hopefully you vibe with them a little bit.
I'll let you know how I feel about them.
And I think you'll give me a really honest opinion. You'll give him an honest shot.
Yeah, I'll give him a shot.
And see, my intern Will didn't give him a shot, you know, and I'm kind of disappointed in Will, you know.
The name Big Daddy Kane.
Does that scare you?
It scares me as far as amateur. Sounds like an amateur to me.
His name sounds amateur?
Big Daddy Kane. Like, anyone can have that name, I feel like.
What? Well,
you just put Big Daddy before your first name. Big Daddy Charlie, Big Daddy Alex. I mean,
Big Daddy Charlie and Big Daddy Alex don't sound good. Like, that's not good.
When I heard myself say it, yeah.
That's not so. Cane, like
sugar cane.
No. But when we get off here, I'm going to show you a picture of him.
Okay.
Once you see the picture, you're going to go, oh yeah, he was a 90s rapper. You're definitely.
Right.
If I was to show your dad a picture, your dad will go, oh, he's got to be a 90s rapper. I'm going to play the music for you, and you're going to go, man, that's quality hip hop music. And hopefully you take it with you and, go off to college and score 36 points and spread the love of Big Daddy Kane.
I will, if it's good.
It will. No, you're gonna enjoy this because I really feel like you have an open mind to this, whereas others don't.
Yeah.
But you're good. You're a good guy. But hey, Charlie, listen, I want to thank you for coming on the show. You did a great job. You articulated your points. You did a very, very good job, and you've had a great high school career, and I applaud you for that. And I wish you well in college. You just think you're starting over.
Right.
You're a freshman again.
Yeah. Not going out without any tournament wins. That's my goal. My number one goal now.
You have, man, you got to walk in there with that written on a piece of paper and put that on a wall.
I have to.
Right in your dorm
Blow
room.
it up, something.
Yes. Yes. And then you're gonna text me after you get that win.
Yeah, I will.
And you're gonna say I did. And hopefully, you go into college and you have an impact like a Carleek Jones we talked about has had. But you got to put in a lot of work between now and when you leave for college, getting stronger.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, exactly. Number one.
Working on your defense.
Defense, yeah. Getting stronger, playing defense.
Would those be two things that you put at the top of the list?
Oh, yeah. Definitely at the top of the list.
Okay. College would do that. When I was coming out of high school, I was skinny. I weighed 100 and I graduated high school at 138 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty bad. How much do you weigh right now?
Like 160.
Okay, so you're a lot bigger than I was. I was very skinny. I was not committed to playing defense, nor did I care about playing defense. But when I went to UC, I had no choice.
Oh, with Huggins? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was.
I didn't want to know how bad those practices were.
I had to really, and that's the thing, like, I tell a lot of kids, you have the ability to play defense. And I know that because I was in your shoes. Like, I was a awful, not your particular shoes, but I was an awful defender because I just didn't care to be a good defender. I wasn't in tune with that. But when I got to UC, Hugs was like, look, we're gonna be successful because of our defense. Our defense is gonna feed our offense. And, I get to practice, and I've got teammates that are going pro, man, that are like, I guarded a guy who was 6'6" for half a season. I'm about 5'10" and a half. And I'm guarding a 6'6" dude who
That's not fair.
that gets drafted to the Lakers. Like, what?
Yeah.
So I was forced to have to learn how to guard. I was like, if I don't learn how to guard here, I'm in really, really bad shape because, practices are so very important when you get to college. Practice and preparation and practice is crucial. And if you don't practice well, Charlie, you're probably not going to play. It's true for anybody,
right?
Not just you. So sorry to stand on the box and start preaching. I'm sorry, I got back in my Hugs mode on Bob Huggins time. So hey, wish you well.
Thank you.
In college and all that good stuff. So I want to thank everybody for listening to another edition of the No Further Comments podcast, the Basketball Insider edition. Like I said, we'll be back next week with Glenn Riley and Mario Doremus for our normal pop culture related No Further Comments podcast.